So this is the first episode of this zombie marathon, and hopefully you'll be here with me for the next 30 episodes. First movie up is White Zombie, released in the early 30s. This movie stars Dracula himself, Bela Lugosi, or as I like to call him, Boris Karloff's sidekick. That's an Ed Wood reference for you. Cut to the clip.
Karloff? Sidekick? Fuck you! Karloff does not deserve to smell my shit!
White Zombie. What is this movie about? Well, it's credited as the first zombie movie feature-length film to be made. This came out in 1931, and basically it follows the story of a woman who travels to Haiti to get married. All of a sudden, we have a little love triangle going on. In order for one guy to fall in love with the lead protagonist, he must give her a poison that will turn her into a zombie and therefore make her fall in love with him. The story doesn't make much sense, you know? If you want to make a girl fall in love with you, all you need is a sick pickup line. You don't need no fancy potion from a witch doctor. Yeah, go on Reddit, there's plenty of pickup lines, just do that. Anyway, obviously this movie has an over-the-top story. It's definitely borderline not a zombie movie. The only thing zombie-ish about them is that they come back from the dead. But besides that, the whole zombie rules haven't been established yet. So the zombies here are basically just living dead. They don't infect each other, they don't eat each other's brains, yada yada yada. Overall, the movie is a bit outdated, not gonna lie. I had a lot of problems with film preservation in this movie. This movie came out in the 30s, and it's really hard to preserve older films because these were shot on actual film. Hard to preserve it. A lot of it got destroyed. A lot of it got just disappeared. And in the version I watched, there was a ton of missing clips, a lot of audio breaks, stuff like that due to the lack of preservation of the film. That said, I watched this movie on Amazon Prime, and I thought I was doing the good move of purchasing a film legally. All of a sudden, I find out that the movie is on YouTube and that it's in a better quality than the Amazon release. What the fuck, Bezos? Get with it. There's plenty of people out there who want to watch White Zombie in high definition. Get with it. That aside, little mix about the movie. Positives about the movie. Bela Lugosi, great as always. He's got that Bela Lugosi stare. I want to suck your blood. Ha ha ha. Gotta do the widow speak. Hold up. Widow speak. Widow speak. Ha 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 ha. Good. Good. Enough of that. I have to throw in one impression every episode here. But other than that, the one thing this movie does unique that hasn't been done to death in zombies since this movie, the one thing that's unique was the fact that they're using zombies as slave labor. That was an interesting subplot going on there. And I feel like if Romero had an extra zombie movie in him, we're going to see later on that Romero's zombie movies tend to be criticisms of society. And I feel like if Romero had one more zombie movie in him, this could have been like a theme he would tackle. The ethics that go into bringing the dead back to life just to use them for slave labor. The ending climax is just fabulous. Fucking everyone's falling off of cliffs. You get Bela Lugosi falling off a cliff. You get the fucking zombie guy falling off a cliff. Everyone's falling off a fucking cliff in this movie. It's awesome. As for the negatives, this is a pretty early zombie movie, so the zombies don't really look like zombies. They kind of just look like humans. I wish there was like a bit more to them, and I understand this is the 30s. Makeup wasn't as predominant a thing in films as it is now, but I wish the zombies had a little more unique look to them. From the film, they kind of just looked like Frankenstein to me, or Frankenstein's monster, sorry. The story and the acting especially is very over the top. The acting, there's some parts where they're either overacting and some parts where they're underacting, but there's never a part where the acting was on point. I did like one actor's performance other than Bela Lugosi, and that was the Haitian man who's explaining the island to him.
Constant, there are evil spirits in the road. I will give you an awanga.
He was pretty over the top. It kind of looked like they just like took a homeless guy off the street and said, "Hey, you, act!" Plot doesn't really make any sense. Why would you turn someone into a zombie just to have them fall in love with you? Does that legally make you a necrophiliac? Maybe. Comment below, let me know what you think. I'm sorry, I don't know why I thought that was funny. The movie's very low budget, even for the time. Some of the special effects, even for the time I'm talking about, weren't quite there yet. A lot of audio issues as well. I don't know if that's because of the film's preservation or the actual filming of the movie, but I read online that it was a very low-budget film and that probably the problems I had with it were due to that low budget. I'm just going to put a disclaimer. If you're interested in seeing this movie, there's a lot of things that haven't aged well. Zombie mythology comes from Haitian, is Haitian. So there's a lot of things that might seem racist by today's standards. So if you don't like that kind of thing, this is not a movie for you. But you have to kind of watch it with the expectations of the time. So yeah, a lot of like stereotypes and stuff like that. I don't take points off of the film for that. Again, like, it's 1930, what do you expect? Just if you're sensitive towards that kind of thing, I wouldn't recommend this movie to you. Basically, the movie's a mixed bag. There's like some charming elements to it. Bela Lugosi's performances, some of the special effects are just a little fun to watch. But overall, it's a very average movie. You can get the same experience out of watching something like the 30s Dracula or those other Universal monster films. You're not missing out on much if you don't watch this movie. If you're interested in knowing more about the zombie mythology and its history in film, go ahead, watch this movie. Like, it's definitely earned its place in the evolution of zombie films. So I'll give this movie a 5 out of 10. I'm not the kind of guy who would like up the score just because the movie's old and I have to look at it by the standards of that day. My enjoyment of the film was a 5 out of 10. I didn't hate myself for watching the movie, but I could have done without it, unfortunately. Had some fun moments, definitely not a regret from my part. And yeah, so hopefully stay tuned and watch tomorrow's video where I keep continuing talking about zombie movies. Spooky!
Bela Dracula Lugosi as the master of the White Zombie.